Welcome to the third video on the deity of Jesus Christ. In the first video, we saw the arguments for the distinctiveness of the Son from the Father and his identity with him. In the second video, we saw the meaning of the phrase Son of God and Father from the Gospel of John and distinctiveness and identity of the Son with the Father from the epistles. In this video, we are going to see 7 arguments for the equality and identity of Jesus with God. 4 arguments from the Gospel of John and 1 argument from the Pauline epistles and 2 arguments from the book of Hebrews. First, let us see 4 arguments from the Gospel of John. Argument number 1. Jesus' claim of equality and identity with God. Jesus asserts his equality and identity with God not only before his own disciples but before the Jewish leaders. John 5:16-23 describes Jesus' claim of equality with God. 6 observations can be made from this passage. Observation 1. Jesus is equal with God in his nature. 5:17-18. Observation 2. Jesus is equal with God in his works. 5:17 and 19. Observation 3. Jesus is equal with God in his love and knowledge. 5:20. Observation 4. Jesus is equal with God in his sovereign power. 5:21. Observation 5. Jesus is equal with God in judgment. 5:22. Observation 6. Jesus is equal with God in worship. 5:23. John 10:25-41 describes Jesus' claim of identity with God. We can make 4 observations from the said passage. Observation 1. Jesus' words show him to be God. 10:30, 34-36. Observation 2. Jesus' works show him to be God. 10:32-37-38. Observation 3. Jesus' person shows him to be God. 10:39. Observation 4. John the Baptist testimony shows Jesus to be God. 10:41. Above said passages from the Gospel of John clearly confirms that Jesus claimed deity. Now let us see whether his audience, namely the Jewish leaders, properly understood the claim of Jesus. That is the next argument. Argument number 2. Jesus reasserts the truthfulness of his claim of deity in the face of blasphemy charges. John 5:18 says, "This was why the Jews were seeking more to kill him, because not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was even calling God his own Father, making himself equal with God." John 10:33 says, "The Jews answered him, 'It is not for a good work that we are going to stone you, but for blasphemy, because you being a man make yourself God.'" Raising of blasphemy charges against Jesus by Jewish leaders, as stated in the above said verses, clearly confirms that they understood Jesus' claim of deity. Had their understanding been wrong, Jesus should have corrected them, but instead of making any correction in their understanding, he reasserted his claim of deity in his reply to them. Jesus denies the charges of blasphemy on the grounds that he is speaking the truth, citing in support the plurality of witnesses required by Jewish law. 4 persons or things bear witness to the identity of Jesus Christ. 1. God the Father, John 5:30-32. 2. John the Baptist, John 5:33-35. 3. Works of Jesus, John 5:36. 4. Holy Scriptures, John 5:37-40. John further remarks another classic statement of Jesus regarding overcoming our troubles through faith. This statement comforted multitudes of people down through the centuries. Our third argument is based on that statement. Argument number 3. Jesus coordinates himself with God as the object of faith. In John 14:1, Jesus coordinates himself with God as the object of faith. Believe in God, believe also in me. Though Jewish leaders charged Jesus of blasphemy, his disciples believed that he is the Son of God, the promised Messiah. That is our next argument. Argument number 4. Confessions of his own disciples, namely John and Thomas. Similarly, like frames around a picture, John refers to him as God in John 1:18 at the start of his gospel, and has Thomas confessing him as my Lord and my God in John 20:28 at the end. Having seen 4 arguments from the Gospel of John, let us now turn to 3 remaining arguments from the epistles. How did writers of epistles understand Jesus? We are putting forward 1 argument from the Pauline epistles and 2 from the book of Hebrews. Argument number 5. Names of Lord, Kurios and Theos used for Jesus in Pauline epistles. Paul's characteristic name for Jesus Christ is Lord, Kurios, the Greek word commonly used for Yahweh, the covenant name of God in the Old Testament. By the widespread use Lord by Paul in his epistles, we understand that he regards Jesus as having the status of God. He makes no attempt to explain or defend it, which shows that the usage of the name Lord for Jesus was so common among the early Christians. Paul's letters testify to belief in the full deity of Jesus Christ as the accepted truth of the church, not as a point of contention. This is confirmed by the Aramaic salutation in 1 Corinthians 16:22. Maranatha, Lord come. Paul uses this in a Gentile context without explanation or translation, with the reverence shown to God. This usage in Aramaic is considered by scholars like Hurtado and Bockham as very early in origin. Moreover, in Romans 9:5, we see the phrase, who is God over all, used for Jesus. It is highly likely that Paul expressly designates Jesus Christ as Theos, God, here rather than by accident. We have 2 more arguments, namely argument number 6 and 7 from the book of Hebrews. Argument number 6. As per the book of Hebrews, the incarnate Son has to possess the status of God. The author of Hebrews, in his argument for Christ's supremacy, cites Psalm 45 to support the incarnate Son as possessing the status of God in Hebrews 1:8-9. Now we have come to the last argument of this video from the book of Hebrews. Argument number 7. Book of Hebrews asserts that Jesus is the radiance of the glory of God and exact imprint of God's nature. As per Hebrews 1:1-14, the Son is the radiance of the glory of God and exact imprint of His nature. All angels are to worship Him. We also see that Psalm 102, referring to the Creator of the universe, is applied in Hebrews 1:1-14 directly to Christ. We would like to end this video with 2 quotations from the NT scholar T.F. Torrance. He said, Christ is, quote, not just a sort of locum tenens or a kind of double for God in His absence, but the incarnate presence of Yahweh, unquote. With the resurrection, the deity of Christ, as per Torrance, becomes, quote, the supreme truth of the gospel, the central point of reference, consistent with the whole sequence of events leading up to and beyond the crucifixion, unquote. From the above said 7 arguments, one should agree with the Torrance and conclude that Jesus Christ is equal to and identical with God. Thank you.